Good evening and welcome to Premier League Live on our first night of three midweek games here on LFS. We start tonight from Villa Park as a reverse fixture that delivered on the opening weekend of the season at St James's Park, with Newcastle thumping Aston Villa by 5 goals to 1 back in August. But fortunes have gone very different ways for these two teams. Villa in somewhat of a title race at one point this season. Newcastle very mid-table and need 3 points tonight. We will have that game, live commentary of that one, for you in 15 minutes time. But 4 other Premier League games ongoing at the moment, and one that's just got underway, and we have our first goal in that one as well. And let me run you through those games then. Nottingham Forest welcome Arsenal to the City Grind. About 32 minutes gone on that one. That one kicked off at 7:30 this evening. It's still goalless in that one. Arsenal dominating the pressure, and we'll have live updates when goals go in that one at the City Ground, but it is goalless at the moment. I'll read you the team news from each of these games as well in a moment. Still goalless between Fulham and Everton. That one kicked off at 7:45 were Fulham and Everton at Craven Cottage. Fulham back-to-back defeats at home in both cup competitions, and will want to get back to winning ways tonight against struggling Everton at the moment. Everton, who as it stands with results going against them, would drop inside the bottom 3 this evening. And this is the kind of storyline of the game so far tonight. Luton Town are beating Brighton and Hove Albion by 2 goals to 0 early in this one. Elijah Adebayo in the first minute and Chidozie Ogbene in the 3rd minute has Luton 2 goals to the good up against Brighton. A fantastic start for the home side. Brighton trying to work their way back into it, since that was also a 7:45 kickoff, and it is an incredible start for Luton. And as I said, that result, that win, would bring Luton out of the bottom 3 in the expense of Everton, who are currently drawing away at Fulham. And then the other game that's literally just kicked off as we went live, 8 o'clock kickoff, 4 minutes gone in that one. And we already have our first goal at Selhurst Park between Crystal Palace and Sheffield United. Ben Burton Diaz has scored in the first minute. So 2 goals inside the first minute of our games this evening. And Ben Burton Diaz getting Sheffield United the goal at Selhurst Park. That has them 1 up very early on. And if they were to win at Selhurst Park tonight, Sheffield United, that will be their first away win of the season, and they're at their 11th attempt of doing so. And then Aston Villa against Newcastle kicks off at 8:15. You can get live commentary of that one here, right here on LFS, in about 10 minutes time or so, and we'll get team news from that one in a moment. Let's just run you through the team news from the other games. We start at the City Ground, where Nuno Espirito Santo has made 3 changes from the side that drew 0-0 with Bristol City in the FA Cup, as Harry Toffolo, Nico Williams and Morgan Gibbs-White come in for Nuno Tavares, Ryan Yates and Callum Hudson-Odoi. Recently injured trio Taiwo Awoniyi, Felipe and Anthony Elanga are all on the bench. Well, Mikel Arteta has brought Gabriel Martinelli and Emile Smith-Rowe into his starting 11, with the duo replacing Leandro Trossard and Kai Havertz in their 2 changes from the team that thumped Crystal Palace 5-0 in their last match 10 days ago. A long rest for Arsenal, but so far not reaping the benefits of that just yet. At the moment, there seems to be a serious issue here for one of the Nottingham Forest players at the moment, who is down on the ground. That game underway, 35 minutes gone in that one at the City Ground. It is still goalless between the two teams. Arsenal dominating the possession and having the better of it, but still yet to find a clear-cut chance at goal. Strong defending from Nottingham Forest at the moment. To our next game, to Fulham and Everton, which is also goalless. That one kicked off 15 minutes later than the Forest games at 7:45, so there's about 20 minutes gone in that one at Craven Cottage. And Marco Silva makes 7 changes to the Fulham 11 that started their 2-0 home defeat by Newcastle in the FA Cup. Bernd Leno returns in goal with Timothy Castagne, Tosin Adarabeu, João Palhinha, Tom Kearney, Willian and Raul Jimenez are all starting. Harry Wilson misses out entirely, having sustained a shoulder injury against Newcastle. at the weekend. So Marco Silva's side, big changes for them. Meanwhile, there are 4 alterations to the Everton lineup following their 2-1 loss to Luton on Saturday in the FA Cup. That last-minute winner from Collie Woodrow to knock Everton out of the FA Cup. Well, Ashley Young is back from injury. Jordan Pickford returns in goal, with Ben Godfrey and Arnott Danjuma also in the 11 for Sean Dyche's side. João Virginia, Nathan Patterson and Beto dropped to the bench. And Amadou Onana, who got a knock in the FA Cup defeat, is not involved entirely. To the game where Rob Edwards' side has absolutely come flying out of the traps. 2-0 lead for Luton after just 3 minutes in that one. That also kicked off at 7:45. The team news from that one: Rob Edwards makes 3 changes to the Luton side to beat Everton in the FA Cup of the weekend. Jordan Clark and Gabriel Osho both return to the starting 11, as does goalkeeper Thomas Kaminski. Tim Krul and Andros Townsend drop to the bench, with Teden Mengi missing out altogether. Well, Roberto De Zerbi has maybe going to make some more changes. By the way, they've started the game, but he made 4 changes to start the game. That was the Brighton team that thrashed Sheffield United on Saturday 5-2 in the FA Cup. Goalkeeper Jason Steele, Lewis Dunk, James Milner and Danny Welbeck come in, with Bart Verbruggen, Adam Webster, Evan Ferguson and Jack Hinchelwood amongst the subs. But that could very much change very soon if it goes the way it has been for Brighton so far. 2 goals down in that one. That is really a shock at the moment. And to the other game then that is currently underway between Crystal Palace and Sheffield United. Big news for Crystal Palace as Michael Olise is back in the starting 11 after recovering from a hamstring injury. The Eagles make 2 changes as Jordan Ayew starts after returning from the African Cup of Nations. Sheffield United give a Premier League debut to new goalkeeper Ivo Grubic. It's 3 changes for the Blades from their last Premier League game. It's been a quiet January for a lot of these teams that weren't involved in both cup competitions. The vast majority of them not involved in both cup competitions. A lot of them had FA Cup action at the weekend, and some big Premier League defeats. Sheffield United knocked out by Brighton, Luton beating Everton, Fulham knocked out by Newcastle. So a lot of the teams involved tonight knocked each other out in the FA Cup at the weekend. And of course Arsenal were knocked out a round earlier, so they weren't in FA Cup action. They had 10 days of a rest between their last game and that game tonight against Nottingham Forest. Right, we're going to take a break in a moment and get you team news from Villa Park before that game between Aston Villa and Newcastle gets underway at 8:15 this evening. From Villa Park, Aston Villa, who have stormed their way towards the top of the Premier League table this season. An incredible feat that Unai Emery has done, getting them inside the top 4 already, and they could go above both Manchester City and Arsenal tonight. If Arsenal drop points, Aston Villa, if they win, would jump up into second, only 2 points behind Liverpool with a win for Villa. Newcastle, they need the 3 points. If they don't win this evening, it could be really difficult. They could be looking down the table rather than up. Only a win would move them up the table. It would move them up a couple of places. If Brighton continue to lose, Newcastle would go above Brighton and jump up to 7th. So it is still tight, but Newcastle will be desperate for 3 points and a kind of building upon their 2-0 win against Fulham at Craven Cottage at the weekend. In the FA Cup, there was a hint that there was a goal at Craven Cottage where Fulham are playing Everton, but at the moment that has been chalked off, we believe, for whatever reason. So Fulham and Everton continues to be goalless. That was what I was getting excited about. There was an apparent chance at goal, and that has been faltered at the moment. Right, so Aston Villa, Newcastle, kickoff is a couple of minutes away. We'll have team news and build up next. welcome back to Premier League Live on this Tuesday evening as 5 of the Premier League games for this match week 22 get underway this evening. 4 already underway and some exciting storylines developing from those games. We will keep you up to date with all the scores from the other 4 games, but it's time for Aston Villa against Newcastle. Two sides that played at an absolute cracker on the opening weekend of the season back in August, with Newcastle thrashing Aston Villa by 5-1. A very different affair for those two sides in the more recent months, where Villa in the top 4, Newcastle, well, struggling to get anywhere near European positions at the moment. Let's have a look at the teams for this evening's game. Well, Aston Villa boss Unai Emery names an unchanged side from the side which drew 0-0 with Chelsea in the FA Cup 4th round last Friday. Ollie Watkins continues up front for Villa as he attempts to end a 6-game run without a goal. The team for Villa is as follows: Emi Martinez in goal, a back 4 of Matty Cash, Esri Konsa, Clement Longley and Alex Moreno, a midfield of Douglas Luiz, Boubacar Kamara, Yuri Tielemans and John McGinn the captain, with a front 2 of Moussa Diaby and Ollie Watkins. Well, Newcastle manager Eddie Howe has also gone with the same side from their last game, a 2-0 win over Fulham in their 4th round tie of the FA Cup on Saturday, as striker Alexander Isak needs 1 Premier League goal to eclipse last season's debut haul of 10 Premier League goals. He will be hoping to get on the score sheet tonight. The team for Newcastle is as follows: Martin Dubravka in goal, a back 4 of Kieran Trippier the captain, Fabian Schär, Sven Botman and Dan Burn, and a midfield 3 of Bruno Guimaraes, Sean Longstaff and Lewis Smiley, with a front 3 of Jacob Murphy, Anthony Gordon and Alexander Isak. The big news for Newcastle, after being linked with a move away to Saudi Arabia, Miguel Almiron is on the bench tonight, which could give you a very good indication as to what his future is going to be like, that he will stay in the northeast. It's Aston Villa, Newcastle United, both needing 3 points, wanting 3 points, but who will get them? Kickoff is next. Good evening and welcome to the live commentary of Aston Villa against Newcastle United on LFS for the cracking Premier League game that we've got up for you. 4 of the games, as I mentioned, live at the moment. No change in the score in those games, and we'll keep you up to date with everything that happens from those matches this evening, if any scorelines change or anything happens in those, and we'll give you a live kind of talk by talk of Forest against Arsenal if anything happens in that one, as we're just awaiting kickoff for this evening's game. The referee for us this evening is John Brooks, and VAR is Andy Madley, so hopefully the VAR won't need to be called into action, but you never know. And John Brooks gets us underway at Villa Park for this heavyweight clash between these two very strong sides, but very different fortunes at this moment in time, and very different league positions at this moment in time as well, as Newcastle knock a ball over the top, trying to make that run in behind, with Villa catch them offside early on. A very misty Villa Park this evening. Seems to be not good visibility. That might be a concern for the play, but we'll see how that develops. Konsa's ball forward, intercepted in the middle. Miley. And that's well worked back by Bruno Guimaraes to Sven Botman. Trippier. Down the line. As Newcastle want to come out firing quickly. Ball down the right hand side, and battling was Jacob Murphy, but Alex Moreno gets in the way of it, just short of his own byline and into his corner flag. Plays it out from the back to Aston Villa there for a bit of recovery, as seems to be the way in Premier League football at the moment. Every team wants to play it from the back, no matter how risky it is. And as Longley goes long there, it almost worked out actually, bouncing and ricocheting off a Newcastle player, and Watkins needed a better delivery of the ball there. Yuri Tielemans overcooked it completely. Allowed Dubravka to clear. Well, he's back the way with Emi Martinez. Longley on the edge of his own box. High pressing from Newcastle early on as McGinn comes deeper. Picks up the ball. Tries to spread it. But ends up putting it straight out of play for a Newcastle throw. No one to target there wide, did John McGinn. Was knocking it into space and no one was there to pick up the ball. It's a pull on Anthony Gordon there by John McGinn. John Brooks spots it and gives Newcastle a free kick. There's been a goal at Selhurst Park. It was a very quick start for Sheffield United, but their lead is no more. Crystal Palace and Roy Hodgson back level at Selhurst Park. 1-1 at Selhurst Park between Crystal Palace and Sheffield United. The goal scorer in that one is Eberechi Eze. So Palace back on level terms. So Sheffield United's hopes of a first away league win of the season have been dashed pretty quickly at Selhurst Park. A win actually would take Sheffield United above Burnley and would jump off the bottom of the Premier League table. Crystal Palace want to push themselves away and they are already back level within 15 minutes. Half time as well from the City ground. A very good defensive first half from Nottingham Forest, but Arsenal dominating the possession and dominating the play, but yet to have a shot on target either side in that one at the City ground. Arsenal 81% possession, one of the highest of a first half this season. So it's been all Arsenal defence, attack-free defence at the moment at the City ground, but no kind of nothing to show for it for Arsenal. Goalless at the break there. And we'll keep you up to date with those other scorelines which remain the same at the moment. Here's Anthony Gordon for Newcastle, down the left. Gets his way past Cash. Miley making the run, goes back to Gordon, who's bundled over there by Boubacar Kamara, and Newcastle will get the free kick there. Good play by Anthony Gordon, gets his body in the way of Boubacar Kamara. He knows the challenge is going to come in, and he knows he's going to get the free kick. Smart forward play by Anthony Gordon there. Eddie Howe wanting to get his side a bit of consistent winning form, build upon that positive result at Fulham at the weekend. They've struggled, having lost 4 Premier League games in a row since the 23rd of December. They want to get back to winning ways in the league. Trippier with a delivery, right-footed, bounces away. Diaby as Villa play out from the back again. This time it's Tielemans who's bundled over, but Trippier won the ball fairly according to the referee, but in trying to maintain possession he knocks it out of play for a Villa throw. Villa take it long, trying to target Ollie Watkins down that right flank, but well dealt with by Byrne. Cash. Now Ezri Konsa. Of course these two sides will not sit off. They will both press high, will both want to add intensity and high tempo game here at Villa Park. We'll see who comes out the better. Here's Alex Moreno down the left hand side. Back to Luis. He's trying to, has the space and kind of a mid block from Newcastle there with 5 slotting into midfield when Villa were through the middle there. Here's Cash, nice touch in field, takes it to Diaby. Diaby on the overlap, trying to cut inside, but Dan Byrne with the clearance, but can only clear it behind for the corner to Aston Villa. Another goal at Selhurst Park. Well, I said Sheffield United's lead didn't last long. Well, Palace being level didn't last long either. Sheffield United are back ahead 2 minutes after being pegged back. James McAtee has them back in front at Sellers Park. McGinn with a corner for Villa. No one in the middle. Easily headed clear by Dan Burn again. He's kind of the only player in there in the middle. Totally an uncontested header for the Newcastle left back. And Villa have this throw in on the right hand side. Matty Cash to take. Cash, long throw into the box, taken down by Watkins. Trying to work the space, but body's in the way of his movement there, and they get it cleared, Newcastle, as Consa fires it back to Emi Martinez. More detail on that Sheffield United goal, by the way, as I mentioned. They took the lead in the first minute. Ben Burton Diaz pegged back by Berrieze's goal after 17 minutes for Crystal Palace. But 3 minutes later, James McAtee has Sheffield United back in front. 2 shots on target, 2 goals, and Chris Wilder's side back in front. And that win, that lead, if it is turned into 3 points, would put them above Burnley in the table. But of course, Burnley is still yet to play this week. Still early doors, of course, in that one. After just 22 minutes, a goal fest at Sellers Park. Gordon finds Miley, breaking down the left. Back to Gordon. Chance for Newcastle here. Gordon with a switch ball. Nicely taken in by Trippier. Ball through the middle. And Matty Cash, confident defending there from the Polish international. Headed it straight back to his keeper, Emi Martinez. And it was as cool as you like there from Matty Cash under pressure. So far, it's been a battle for possession between these two sides. 8.5 minutes gone, goalless at Villa Park, and both sides battling to kind of try and work their way into the opposition box. Neither side have really breached those areas as of yet. McGinn just beating off the ball as the ball's fed down the right. Murphy to chase for Newcastle. Up against Moreno. Whips a ball in. Away by Longley. Not fully away though. Follow up again. Trippier with the deep delivery. Gordon can't take it down on the left. Closely followed by Cash. But then the underlap there by Miley. And it gets a corner for Newcastle. Better from Newcastle sustaining that pressure on the Villa defence there. Not allowing them to reset and try and clear the possession. Clear the ball out of danger. But it's good intense pressure from Newcastle. And Kieran Trippier coming over to the left hand side to take this corner for Newcastle United. Well, 2 Geordies scored at the weekend for against Fulham for Newcastle. They took the corner short. Gordon, one of them coming from a corner as well. Trippier looking for a delivery. Well blocked by Matty Cash. Diaby trying to put pressure and winning the ball back, and that forces the ball long, which allows Villa to win it back. McGinn. Diaby closely blocked off by Trippier again. Seems to be their constant outball at the minute. Villa, a couple of times when they've played it out, they've targeted Moussa Diaby. The ball over the top for Newcastle, just inches ahead of the left boot of Alexander Isak there. And the flag stayed down. He was onside. McGinn's ball, as he's fouled there in the middle. And that will be a free kick for Villa, and they won't be allowed to take it quickly as John Brooks is pulling it back there for another taking of that free kick. Longley. Moreno. Back to Clermont Longley for Aston Villa. Martinez. High press again from Newcastle. I said both of these sides, they won't be afraid to put pressure on their opposition, especially on the defences. And both defences will want to play out, want to dominate possession, want to control the ball. Villa pinned in their own area at the moment as they go long over the top and try and find the ball to Ollie Watkins, and they do so and get the throw in out of it. Still inside their own half here, Villa. throw on the left-hand side. Moreno to take this throw in. Kamara. Now Longley. All the way across to Martinez. Comes out of his 6-yard box. To Ezri Konza. Newcastle doing well to block off any sort of passing lane for Villa. Try and find a free man as they try and spread it out to the right. Cash does well. Takes it in nicely. Well spotted by Martinez as there was no other option, but good pressing from Newcastle again, and they forced it all the way back to Martinez to go again. Need to move quickly, Villa. Martinez goes long up the middle. Easily dealt with by Fabian Schär there. Sends it straight back to Martinez again. Seems Newcastle are comfortable with this at the moment. Waiting for Villa to make a mistake. As they go long again. And can't keep the possession. As they nick it to win it back. McGinn. Luis couldn't keep the possession. Referee says no foul after Luis wanted a free kick. Here's Guimaraes for Newcastle. Now Newcastle's turn to have a bit of possession. Here is Bruno Guimaraes. To Schär. Botman. Now Newcastle under pressure from Villa. Here's Dan Burn. Botman. Through the lines to Longstaff, and Guimaraes quick to give it back to his centre back. Sven Botman. Now across to Fabian Schär. Looking for the space out on the left. Look at the space here. Here's Alexander Isak, drifted wide. Miley with a delivery, but too deep from Lewis Miley there. No one there to meet it in the box. They try and put a threat to the Villa keeper. Goals around the grounds again, and it's just gone from bad to worse for Roberto De Zerbi's Brighton. They were 2-0 down within 3 minutes. Well, with 3 minutes to go in the first half, it is now 3-0 to Luton. And the man who opened the scoring has got extended Luton's lead to 3 goals. Elijah Adebayo with his second of the game to give Luton a 3-goal lead at home against Brighton. They have been fantastic, Luton. 2.02 XG. 43 minutes gone. Incredible start. 4 shots on target. Brighton really struggling at Kenilworth Road. 3-0 down. And again, well, it's been back and forth all night at Selhurst Park. Sheffield United took the lead. Palace levelled. They took the lead again. Well, it's no surprise what's happened now. It's Palace, and they're back level, and it's the man who got them back level the first time. He's done it a second time. Exactly 10 minutes later, Abereyeze with his second to give Palace another equalising goal. Crystal Palace 2, Sheffield United 2 as Newcastle are in. Isak blocked off, and Konsa got in the way of that. Took his time, Isak, with the strike. Just delayed it a slight second and allowed the Villa defender Ezri Konsa to get the block in. The space was opened up there, the Villa defence. But here's Diaby trying to get them the other way. Cash, nice ball from Moussa Diaby. Tracking back was Anthony Gordon. Here is Matty Cash as 15 minutes have gone at Villa Park. And neither side have really kind of tested the opposition goalkeeper, but I would have to say Newcastle, in those opening displays, have looked like they've been able to open up the Villa defence a bit more than Villa have them. But here's Moreno with a chance to, on the left flank. Bodies in the box for Villa. Can he find one? No, he can't. His cross is easily blocked away by Trippier, but Villa win it back again. Kamara gets a bit of a cheer from the home crowd. McGinn. Need a bit of energy, Aston Villa at the minute. Struggling to add the tempo. Here's Moreno. Newcastle in their shape, in their structure defensively. Will be a tough side to break down. It's all about moving the ball quick for Villa. Here's Moreno with space. Back to Luis. Right-footed delivery. Cash had made the run. Byrne got the header away, but Kamara picks it up again on the edge. Diaby. McGinn. He lifts it in. Back post. Coming in was Moreno. Got in the way was Trippier. Villa building the pressure now. McGinn. Spins. Away from his marker. Spins from another one. Does well, the Villa captain. McGinn. Fizzes it across, but that time his pass was miscued, but it was well recovered by Aston Villa. Cash was there to pick up the loose ball and get Villa back in control. Bit more improvement there from Aston Villa. McGinn seems to be their key figure in midfield. So far, he's been the conductor in getting Aston Villa in those attacking areas. Long ball from Martinez, cleared away. Again, McGinn picks it up in space, finds Cash on the right flank. He's got bodies forward. Here's Diaby, big chance for Villa. And Diaby's ball was easily cut out by Newcastle. But pressed again, McGinn, Kamara. You can feel a goal is coming soon. The pressure building on Newcastle, but they eventually get it cleared again. And a really good challenge that time by John McGinn and Anthony Gordon, which gets a cheer from the home crowd once again. Really good, beautiful pass by John McGinn, and the first time ball by Matty Cash. Found the deep run of Moussa Diaby in the box, and all he had to do was square it across to find Ollie Watkins free. But no one else but the Newcastle defenders could get anywhere near the ball. And they got it cleared and took the pressure away from them defensively. Just to let you know, the second half has got underway at the City ground, where Forest and Arsenal are currently playing out a goalless draw at the moment. In that one, Arsenal want to keep pressure on top of the table. Liverpool, a win would certainly do that, and we will see if they can conjure up anything in the second half. We'll give you a rundown of that game if anything happens there. At the moment it is still goalless. The second half just getting underway. Cash. Well, this little spell from Villa seems to be working out, but misplaced ball by Douglas Luiz there allows Lewis Miley to pick it up for Newcastle. Now Gordon. And he will go back to Sven Botman. Share. And, well, one point you would make, and one stat you have to recognise coming into this game, is of course Aston Villa's incredible home form this season. It's been one of their key components to being where they are in the Premier League this season, in the table. Oh, here's Anthony Gordon though. Spins in the box, finds the space, great block. Great goalkeeping by Martinez, and then Isak's shot is spread wide. Good move, ball over the top again. See this again, it's good move down the right hand side from Newcastle. I think it's Jacob Murphy with a ball over the top. It was bouncing ball, and Gordon makes the run off the back of Esri Konsa. Uses his quick footwork to speed past two of them in the box, and then tries to slot it past Emi Martinez. Really good goalkeeping. And then the follow-up from Isak is spread wide, but I think might have took a deflection. It didn't actually take a deflection. Goal kick. Oh, high press from Anthony Gordon, almost catching Martinez out there from the goal kick. Here's Watkins, who has been minimally involved so far for Aston Villa. Struggled on a kind of 6-game run without a goal, Ollie Watkins. That's a great block by Dan Byrne there to hoof that away. The ball over the top was incredibly weighted, and now Matty Cash had made that run beyond and just looked to be certain to threaten the Newcastle defence there, but well dealt with by Dan Byrne. Villa throw in on the right hand side. 21 minutes gone. Goalless at Villa Park. Everywhere else still the same at the moment. Just gone half time at Kenilworth Road, where Luton are leading Brighton by 3-0. 2 goals from Adebayo in that first half, either side. of a Chidozie Ogbene goal to give Luton a 3-goal lead. Here's a big chance for Villa. Diaby should have shot when he passed it, and that time he should have taken it first time, but was too concerned about Ollie Watkins. Really good build-up play from Villa through the lines. Route 1 direct football, and Moussa Diaby should take it. He has it on his right foot and just should strike it across goal. But he tries to go for that squared past the Ollie Watkins again, and again Newcastle get bodies in the way to block it. Seems like this game's opening up and a goal could be coming very shortly. Who will get it still hangs in the balance. Both sides are showing threats as Matty Cash gets charged down by Dan Burn. Miley. Good ball by Guimaraes. Finds Isak on the left. Chops his way past McGinn. Finds Guimaraes again. Now Cher. Fed ball down the right hand side for Kieran Trippier, but good strong physicality from Yuri Tielemans there to bounce off that shove from Kieran Trippier. Fella again under pressure. Consa goes long this time and no real option as Dan Burn goes back to his keeper. As it was said about Villa and their home form, it really is been incredible this season. They've dropped points just once at home this campaign. Sheffield United's visit here, they almost lost that game, by the way, when they went 1-0 down late on in that game. They got a late equaliser to keep their unbeaten run at home going. 9 wins out of 10 Premier League home games this season, and the joint best defence in terms of home record this season, and the best attack at home this season. It's been incredible from Aston Villa at Villa Park. They've been invincible, almost impeccable at Villa Park this season. Only Liverpool and Manchester City remain the other two sides unbeaten on their own patch this season. Newcastle, on the other hand, well, we look at their away form. That's where their downfall has been this season. One of the worst forms away from home this season. Only 1 win in 10 away games this campaign. They've lost 7 of their 10 away games. And that is exactly probably why they are where they are, sitting in mid-table in the Premier League at this moment in time. With 29 points prior to kickoff. Half-time, by the way, at Craven Cottage as well, between Fulham and Everton, where it is goalless. The only other game there. That game is also goalless in London. Some exciting games. Luton and the game at Luton and the game at Crystal Palace has been absolutely exciting, but they've taken all the action from the other 3 games. Nothing to be seen from any of the other games at the moment. Here's John McGinn. Kamara. Ball over the top from Boubacar Kamara is easily dealt with by Martin Dubravka. Interesting, by the way, I've just spotted something for Nottingham Forest. Talked about the fact that they had 18% possession in the first half. Well, they've had not much more than that in the second half, but one interesting factor is that Chris Wood has been taken off at half-time and replaced by Taiwo Awoniyi. Remember, only returning from injury, and Nuno said in his pre-match interview that the players that had come weren't necessarily fully fit, but Awoniyi is on the pitch. Could make an impact for them, as Aston Villa were in the move there, in the groove, but the final ball is broken down, and they've won it back fairly again. Kamara. Looking for options. Finds John McGinn. Seems to always be the man in space. The Villa number 7. Kamara. McGinn. Spinning away from Guimaraes again. Spreads it out to the left. Finds Moreno. Bodies for him to target. Cuts it back for Louise. Louise spreads it to Cash. Cash in the box, looking to work an angle, work a bit of space. Hits a Newcastle player, calls a handball, and then follows up the shot as he was sliding to the floor, but straight into the hands of Martin Dubravka. There, just see the replay of this from Cash. Yeah, it's not handball. It does hit his arm of Dan Burn there, but it's down by his side, and it's literally about a foot away from the player. There's not much he can do there about that, so never handball, and we played on. Rightfully so. And that was the Villa's first shot on target of the evening, that one. Anthony Gordon having Newcastle, so one shot on target apiece this evening. One shot for Villa, two for Newcastle, so both sides really struggling on that front so far. But Villa have looked more promising in attacking areas. The referee waving away a challenge there that the Villa fans are not happy with. They felt they should have had a free kick, but the referee's played on. Here's Anthony Gordon down the left-hand side. Overlapping was Byrne. Takes the infield option. Here's Miley trying to work and cut the ball back, and Boubacar Kamara in the way puts it out for a Newcastle corner. Just see this again. Maybe a bit of a late challenge there from Kieran Trippier. The two captains colliding there. Trippier and McGinn. The referee felt it was a coming together and played on, which I think was probably the correct decision, having seen the replay there. I would tend to agree with the ref's decision there. Newcastle have another corner. Will they whip it in this time? They've certainly got height in there. Dan Burn is one you would certainly keep a very close eye on. Trippier with a right-footed delivery, flicked on and headed well wide by Dan Burn, the man involved there, but put it wide. Goal kick, Aston Villa. Just watching an Arsenal corner here. Declan Rice with a corner for Arsenal. Right-footed delivery, and that's well headed away by Nottingham Forest. As I mentioned, I'll keep you up to date with any interesting information from that Forest-Arsenal game, with around 35 minutes to go in that one. They're 10 minutes into the second half at the City Ground. It is still deadlock remains. It was a close game between the two sides in the reverse fixture earlier in the season. Arsenal winning by 2-1 at the Emirates on match day 1. So a tight game as well in the north west in Nottingham on the banks of the River Trent at the City Ground, but it is still no damage done for either team at the moment. Goalless, as it is here in our game at Villa Park. As the ball over the top, Isak had made the run off Konsa again, kept the possession, finds Jacob Murphy. Murphy blocked off, Murphy with a shot, then the follow-up is blocked. Goodness me, not confident goalkeeping from Martinez at all. Gordon with a delivery, not cleared away by Villa, and bouncing on the ball was Emi Martinez, who came flying out of the traps there to get the catch to try and make up for his earlier blunder, and gets Villa on the break. Here's McGinn, space to charge down that left-hand side, feeds it through for Watkins. Newcastle get the ball back, or get bodies back in the area. Here's Luis, ball over the top. Kamara made the run, but couldn't get the finish that he needed. Just made connection with the ball, but nowhere near goal there. Just as you think Newcastle look comfortable, Boubacar Kamara makes a late run into the box, and Anthony Gordon let his man run there. And really well weighted ball by Douglas Luis through the middle, over the top, and Kamara just stretching for it at the last second. Couldn't bring it under his control and take a shot at goal. And then it was grasped upon by Martin Dubravka. Just see this chance again from Newcastle. Nice ball by Anthony Gordon. Isak takes control of it, gets it to Jacob Murphy. He opens up a bit of space. Alex Moreno steps off and steps off and steps off, and then he takes the shot, which is blocked and then parried away by Martinez, and then the follow-up is well blocked again by a Villa player putting their body on the line. The game is opening up. Ball over the top for Newcastle. Here's Anthony Gordon, takes a touch inside and takes the strike, but over the bar, and it might have took a deflection off Ezri Konsa in the process there, and that will be a Newcastle corner. End-to-end game it's suddenly become at Villa Park. Both sides trying to trying to test each other's defences. So far, it did take a deflection off Esri Konsa there. And Eddie High, slight bit of frustration there, but both sides showing a bit more pressure and a bit more creativity at the moment. As here's Kieran Trippier to take this corner on the right-hand side for Newcastle. 31 minutes gone. Still goalless at Villa Park. Trippier, right-footed delivery into the box. All the way through, and it's in! And it's Fabian Schär. It bounced all the way in. No one from a Villa perspective wanted to pounce upon the ball. And somehow it's found its way past Emi Martinez and into the back of the Villa net. Fabian Schär charges away celebrating. And the Villa fans kind of dumbfounded as to how they've conceded from this. Oh, what is that? Really good delivery by Trippier, but no one attacking the ball. And Esri Konsa, on his heels, allows Fabian Schär to stretch around him with his right foot and just meets it beautifully with his right boot into the bottom right corner. Completely wrong foots the Villa keeper. No chance for Martinez, and pretty lazy defending from Esri Konsa. Should be proactive in trying to go for the ball. Just laziness in trying to wait for the ball to come to him, and he pays the ultimate price. Villa 0, Newcastle 1. Fabian Schär the goal scorer. And it looked kind of strange as to how that goal had got, the ball had gone in the back of the net. It looked like Villa had it covered and they were in control, but somehow, well, they just weren't switched on completely there from that position. And Newcastle pounce upon it and take the advantage that they've probably been pushing for. Both sides have been pushing for in the last 5 minutes. We had more end-to-end, more open game of football. This could be a huge win if Newcastle continue to have the lead at Villa Park. They'll be the first side to win on this ground in the league this season if they do it. But I'm sure Eddie High will know what Sheffield United had, and it was thrown away in the late stages. But Newcastle, when leading, they have lost just twice, and in 13 occasions when leading this season. Sorry, 12 occasions when leading this season. Here's Murphy. Finds Longstaff. Back to Jacob Murphy. Newcastle threatening again, and Anthony Gordon was there, but Matty Cash got ahead of him and put it behind for the corner. Villa on the ropes at the minute, it seems. Struggling to deal with those low crosses into the box. And Anthony Gordon just realises at the last second the opportunity he had there. Matty Cash was certainly proactive in how he dealt with that one. But Villa have another corner to defend. Seems like a crucial moment where Villa need to hang in there. Corner comes in. Header comes in, and a deflection off the crossbar and in. Somehow again it's gone in, and Fabian Schär, the beneficiary again. Terrible from Aston Villa. Crumbled. 2 set pieces and 2 very poor goals to give away. And Fabian Schär, the man to force it over the goal line on both occasions. This one, it's the second phase that Villa struggled to deal with. It's Cash with the clearance. Anthony Gordon on the edge of the box just fires right through the ball. As it comes to him on the volley, it takes a deflection off the left boot of Longley, bounces off the underside of the crossbar. Martinez is completely done, and Fabian Schär, the first to react to the bouncing ball. And Aston Villa, in a matter of moments, find themselves 2-0 down. And Fabian Schär has 2 goals at Villa Park. Aston Villa 0, Newcastle United 2. Incredible. Although VAR might have a bit of checking to do. We will see if Fabian Schär's second goal will count. And the check is complete. No issues in the build-up there from Andy Madley, the VAR, and the goal stands. So, wow. Villa need an instant response, and that's a good way to start it. Forcing Dubravka to knock it out for a throw-in. 8 minutes to go in the first half, and from a moment where they were trying to build their way into the game and looked more threatening, Aston Villa, the game opened up. A bit more end to end, and Newcastle took the benefit, and they've given it away again. Konsa, but well won back by McGinn. Taking the game by the scruff of the neck, the Villa captain. Can he get his side back involved again? Moreno continuing his long run. Back to Watkins. Now Luis. McGinn now. Kamara, they need a goal, I'm sure. Villa 2-0 down at half-time would be devastating. Get themselves back into it quickly. Goal at the City ground as well, as Newcastle clear their lines again, and Villa need an instant response, but Ezri Konsa almost caught out again. As here's Moreno, looking for options, asking for a bit of movement. Douglas Luiz, now McGinn. Ball down the left-hand side. Moreno trying to work a bit of space now, Villa, as Tielemans is making movements. Here is Yuri Tielemans on the edge of the box. McGinn forcing it through. Watkins, heavy touch by Kamara, allows Newcastle to recover and win the free kick. Goal at the City ground, and it's a goal for the visitors. It's from a throw-in. Gabriel Jesus making the run into the box, and the former Arsenal keeper caught out at his front post, right through the legs of Matt Turner from a very tight angle. Should have been an easy save for the keeper. Very difficult one for Gabriel Jesus to score. But you have to shoot to score, and Gabriel Jesus took the shot, and somehow it found its way past Matt Turner in the Forest goal to give Arsenal a 1-goal lead at the City grounds. And Matt Turner shaking his head as to how that unfolded. Rare occasion that happens, and that goal is crucial for Arsenal. A win for the Gunners on the road would put them within 2 points of Liverpool. Remember, they play each other on Sunday afternoon at the Emirates, Arsenal and Liverpool, and that will be a huge game. But of course Liverpool would be 2 points ahead, but a chance to go back to 5 points as they play Chelsea tomorrow night at Anfield. Just a reminder for you, that game, Liverpool v Chelsea, tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Will be live at 8 o'clock. Kickoff is at 8:15 from Anfield, as Liverpool will look, as it stands, will look to extend their lead back to 5 points at the top of the Premier League table. Now, their closest challengers prior to kickoff, Manchester City, are also in action tomorrow night as well, but they have a game in hand on everyone else around them. Right, so it's Arsenal leading at the City ground at the moment. Newcastle in a very commanding position at Villa Park. 2 goals to the good. Both Fabian Schär goals with 5 minutes of the first half to go. Villa Park really stunned by what's happening, or what has happened in this first half so far. Elsewhere, it is goalless between Fulham and Everton, the only game remaining at that scoreline, goalless. 7 minutes gone in the second half. There was an injury issue for Fulham. Raul Jimenez had to come off at half-time. Rodrigo Muniz came on in his place. That was an injury issue. Luton, I've got another one. Incredible performance from Luton. Completely shell-shocking Brighton at Kenilworth Road. This could be a night Luton fans won't forget for a very long time, although, just as I say, they've scored a fourth. The goal has been disallowed, so it's back to 3-0, but it's still going to be a night that Luton fans will not forget anytime soon, beating Brighton at the minute by 3 goals-0. Incredible. And at half-time, that game between Crystal Palace and Sheffield United, that yo-yo game at Sellers Park, where Sheffield United took an early lead, Palace levelled. Palace then responded by taking the lead again before Aberieze got his second to give Palace another equaliser. So it is 2-2 at the half in that one. An issue here for Alexander Isak, who's receiving a bit of treatment at the moment, which has this game stopped at the moment. At half time in this one, we'll keep you to date with the affairs going around the grounds, and we will run through this first half. A first half where, for a long period of time, it was kind of each side kind of toeing the line of looking threatening but not really creating any clear-cut chances, and then two set pieces poorly dealt with by Aston Villa where they trail. And not a good sight for Newcastle United here. Alexander Isak is coming off. Just received treatment and is now going to leave the field of play. And the man who's been of great speculation at St James's Park in the last few days of a possible move to Saudi Arabia is coming on in Miguel Almiron. Of course, the Saudi Arabian transfer window closes this evening, so it looks unlikely, very unlikely, almost impossible for Miguel Almiron to complete a move to Saudi Arabia in this window. I mean, it is impossible. I mean, he's playing for Newcastle at this minute in time. He's on for Alexander Isak just before half-time. That's a big body blow to Newcastle in attacking areas. Although it's been their centre-back, Fabian Schär, that's been their attacking outlet so far. He scored both goals in this first half for them. Crazy. Into the last 2 minutes of the first half. Aston Villa 0, Newcastle United 2. And a game which was said prior to kick-off was a very important game for Newcastle. One that they must feel that if they want to get back into Europe again next season, they need 3 points on the road, which no one has been able to do so far this season at Villa Park. But at the moment, heading into half-time, it seems Newcastle will have a very commanding lead to help them on their cause. Here's Almiron, who's taken up that position on the left-hand side. Guimaraes with the delivery. Again, Villa struggling to clear. They do get it away. Good play by Tielemans. Nice quick feet. Kamara under pressure. Does really well to keep the possession there, the Villa player. And skips past two Newcastle players in the middle. And finds Moreno, and the referee has called for a free kick. Because there's a Villa player that went down there for an issue. And they wanted to play on as they had possession. Goal at the City ground. And, well, they talk about floodgates. When one goes in, they all seem to go in. And Arsenal, in quick succession, from 1 up to 2 up at the City ground. 2 goals in quick succession for the Gunners. And it's Bukayo Saka, the man to get back on the score sheet for Arsenal and to get his 7th Premier League goal of the season to give Arsenal a 2-goal lead at the City ground. Just explain how it happens. Header won by Havertz in the middle, not well cleared away by Murillo. Ball comes down the left hand side. Jesus running in, spreads the ball across. Saka completely unmarked on the right hand side of the box, and he just uses his really good, just see this again, Jesus feeds it across and takes a touch with his right, Saka, and with his right instep fires it across goal. Does take a slight touch from Matt Turner on the way through, and into the far corner for 2-0. Much more comfortable for Arsenal, who lost on this ground last season to end their hopes of a Premier League title. Their first Premier League title since 2004. Well, they've come back with a revenge arc and have taken a 2-goal lead in that one, and will be within 2 points of per league leaders Liverpool after tonight's games if they can hold on to that lead at the moment. 4 minutes to be added on at the end of this half here at Villa Park. We've played one of those already. Just to remind you of that, to keep you up to date. And a tough mountain, a mountain for Villa to climb, really, unless they get a goal before half-time. Here's a chance, Moreno. The ball was too little, but the flag went up very early against Aston Villa there. Ollie Watkins wanted his opportunity. And just see the replay of it. Ball in the middle. Comes over the top. It's tight. But I think Alex Moreno is offside, so it's a good decision by the linesman. But it was a tight call, but the correct decision prevails. Offside was the correct decision. So there we are. Good chance for Villa, though. It's the first time they've really put the ball in behind Newcastle's defence and tried to threaten them that way. Newcastle have been doing that to Villa all night. I mean, it's well documented Villa's high line and how naive and how kind of vulnerable they can be at times when they don't get it right. You know, when it isn't impeccable. I mean, 9 times out of 10 it is perfectly dealt with. But here's a nice break of the ball for Villa. Cash with a delivery. Diaby was waiting, but really good from Fabian Schär to get in the way of it and put it behind for a corner. He's been incredible at both ends tonight. Getting involved to give Newcastle 2 goals and then to deny Villa a goal there at the other end. Fabian Schär. Corner to Aston Villa into the final minute of the first half. Taken short by Luis. Gets it returned back to him. Works an angle. Right-footed delivery into the box. Closest was Longley, and then Watkins was getting involved and cannons it off the leg of Bruno Guimaraes and behind for another corner. The ball comes in and Longley gets up between 2 Newcastle players. The ball bounces down, falls to Watkins, and then he hits the ball off Guimaraes and wins the corner. And the referee stopped the game here for a second. John McGinn and Lewis Miley. A bit physical. A youngster born 2006. Incredible, that. And he's keeping a close eye on the Aston Villa number 7. Ball deep, delivered in. Headed on by John McGinn, but just over the bar. And he should get that on target at the very least. The Villa captain. Really good to hold off Lewis Miley. Flings him off. Does really well to get up. Responds, and the header was just over the bar in the end. And that is the half-time whistle from the referee John Brooks. A first half where I'm sure the whole of Villa Park will be shell-shocked as to what they've seen. It's not been Villa's best display of a first half. They've really struggled to create clear-cut chances. Their only shot on target was an easy save in the end that Matty Cash struck at the ball. Martin Dubravka hasn't really been called into massive kind of concern, but Newcastle will be the talk. Fabian Schär will certainly be the talk of the half when giving Newcastle a 2-goal lead. Half-time score at Villa Park. It's Aston Villa 0, Newcastle 2. Half-time analysis coming up very shortly. Welcome back to Premier League live on LFS this evening. Half-time at Villa Park. It is Aston Villa 0, Newcastle United 2. Fabian Schär with both goals from that first half to give Newcastle a commanding lead at Villa Park this evening. 4 other Premier League games ongoing at the same time as this one, all very varying kickoff times, of course, this evening. Staggered kickoff times this evening. The first of which, the game that is at the latest stage, is Nottingham Forest against Arsenal, where at half-time it was Forest's strong defensive performance and Arsenal had failed to have a shot on target in the first half, but they came out better in the second half, firing, and they've found 2 goals in the second half. Arsenal from 2 shots on target, and their dominance of possession has them in a 2-goal lead. Goals from Gabriel Jesus and Bukayo Saka, both probably very savable and very avoidable goals that Nottingham Forest have given away, really. The first one, Gabriel Jesus, from a really tight angle, straight through the legs of Matt Turner, and should do better. And 999 times out of 1,000, that one goes wide. But on that one occasion was tonight, where Arsenal got that goal from that tight angle, and Bukayo Saka's ball completely unmarked, and it's not the best strike we've seen from Bukayo Saka. The keeper should probably get across quicker and deal with it better, but it finds the bottom left corner, after the right-footed strike by Bukayo Saka, which doubles Arsenal's lead. And with 10 minutes to go in that one, it is still Nottingham Forest 0, Arsenal 2 at the City Ground, as Forest try and respond to that and try and get themselves back into the game, as there's a late delivery in there, but straight into the hands of David Raya, the Arsenal keeper. Arsenal at the moment would go back within 2 points of Liverpool. We'll talk about the league table in a few moments. Also around the grounds at Craven Cottage, 66 minutes gone on that one. Fulham and Everton is still goalless. The only game tonight without a goal at Craven Cottage. Fulham were beaten in the last 2 home games in a row in both cup competitions. In the League Cup semi-final, where they were knocked out of the semi-final by Liverpool last midweek, and then that defeat to Newcastle in the FA Cup at the weekend, and that has them goalless. Has them, well, struggling at home, but they are goalless at the moment. Everton holding firm. I wouldn't say holding firm, I would say it's been a good game, a good battle between these 2 teams, and neither have really been able to find the net. That's been the problem so far. But it has been, I would say, Fulham that have edged it slightly. Both have had very good amounts of shots. 32 shots in total in the game. 19 for Fulham, 13 for Everton. Both having 7 shots on target in total over the course of the game. So still a very close game in that one. Everton, as it stands, will be in the bottom 3. With results not going their way. And speaking of results not going their way, Brighton on course for one of their biggest defeats of the season. They have been completely destroyed by Rob Edwards' Luton at Kenilworth Road this evening. Luton have given a lot of big teams a bloody nose this season. Arsenal had a late winner in Kenilworth Road as they were pushed to a 4-3 scoreline. Liverpool dropped points. Manchester City narrowly beating them by 2-1, but it's the night where it all comes perfect for Luton Town, when their captain Tom Lockyer back in the house after that cardiac arrest he had a month or 2 ago, and he's back in the ground tonight, and they are giving him a real spectacle to witness tonight. 4-0 to Luton at the moment, including an Elijah Adebayo hat-trick to give Luton a 4-goal lead. Incredible from Rod Edwards' side. Chidozie Ogbene, the other man, scoring this evening. A wonderful job that could see Luton in a get themselves out of the bottom 3 this evening. Not a result anyone really would have predicted coming into this one. 4-0 Brighton are being beaten in that one with about 25 minutes to go. The second half is just underway between Crystal Palace and Sheffield United in the other game at Selhurst Park this evening in South London, and it's been a kind of back and forth tiptoe yo-yo game at Selhurst Park this evening. Sheffield United were 1 goal up early on. Ben Burton Diaz getting a goal in the first minute of the game to give Sheffield United an early lead. Eberieze then pegged them back, got Palace back on level terms, but only a couple of minutes later, James McAtee had Sheffield United back in front again. Before a couple of minutes after that, you guessed it, Crystal Palace back level, and the man who put them back level the first time done the same again, got them back level the second time. Eberieze with 2 goals tonight, having Palace level, and that's the way it has been. Sheffield United have made 2 changes at half time. One of their goal scorers from the first half has been taken off, Ben Burton Diaz, and Anas Ben Slimani also taken off. Reece Norrington Davis and Andra Brooks come on at half time. Palace have been the better side based on the balance of the stats. More possession, more shots, but not more shots on target. 3 shots on target from Sheffield United. They have been accurate and clinical when they've got into attacking areas so far. From their 0.2 XG, they have 2 goals. Sheffield United, that is what they need to be doing, and keeping themselves in games, especially what they're doing at Crystal Palace this evening. 2-2 at Selhurst Park, and then half time between Aston Villa and Newcastle. It is 2-0 to the visitors. Let's just run you through the first half stats then from Villa Park. At the moment, where Villa have narrowly edged the possession, 53% to 47 in their favour, but everything else has been in Newcastle's favour very easily. 9 shots for Newcastle to Villa's 3, 4 shots on target to Villa's 1, 4 corners to Villa's 3. Their XG, Newcastle, is 1.22, Villa 0.16, one of their worst first half XGs this season. Newcastle have had 3 big chances, they missed 1. Villa have had 1 big chance, which they missed. The passing accuracy, Villa have had more passes, 262 to Newcastle's 231, but 86% passing accuracy for Villa, 83% for Newcastle. But that really doesn't matter at the moment. It's Newcastle that are finding the better of it and have had better moves in attacking areas, have found the space, have found a way to exploit Villa, and it's been set pieces. I mean, both goals coming from set pieces. Fabian Schär, the beneficiary of both. The first one, it's just lazy defending from Ezri Konsa. The ball gets whipped in from the right hand side from Kieran Trippier. It just beats everyone at the front post. It falls down in the box, and Ezri Konsa's just waiting for it to come from to hoof it away, instead of being proactive and knowing that there's a man behind you wanting to get on the ball. Fabian Schär kind of stretches his right leg round the body of Ezri Konsa and just fires it into the bottom right corner. No chance for Martinez, who was completely wrong-footed. No chance for him. Didn't know anything was coming. No chance at anticipating that. And a bit lazy defending from Ezri Konsa, who should do better. The second one is from the second phase of a corner. Another corner comes in, headed away by Matty Cash. A rebound, bounces it to the edge of the box. Anthony Gordon strikes it first time on the volley. It then deflects off the left boot of Clement Longley, hits the underside of the Villa crossbar, completely beats Emi Martinez, bounces down, and the man to latch on it, to respond the quickest from anyone in the box, was Fabian Schär to knock it home for 2-0. I mean, and Newcastle ended the half a lot better than Villa, but Villa had a small spell in that first half where you expected them to get a goal. They were keeping pressure on Newcastle. It was the first time they really tried to threaten them in the game, and they've still really struggled, Aston Villa, in attacking areas. Ollie Watkins practically could be on holiday for all we know, because he's been very little. He's not been involved at all, really. I mean, it's not his fault, because he's been in his area where he normally is, where Villa usually find him. So far, Newcastle have done a very, very good job at stifling that ball through the middle to stop the ball being delivered to Watkins. I mean, Diaby has really struggled as well to get into the game. Kamara's not been as good in the midfield. He's not really linked it up as well. I mean, John McGinn and Douglas Luiz, probably the 2 best players for Aston Villa from that first half. They're keeping them in it in midfield. They're giving them opportunities in the break, but everyone else for Villa needs to up their level in the second half, because it's not been anywhere near good enough. And I'm sure Unai Emery is kind of relaying that message in the changing rooms at half time, where they are 2-0 down, and they have yet to lose at home this season, Aston Villa, in the Premier League. 9 wins, 1 draw, at home this season from their 10 home Premier League games. Will they be unstuck tonight as Newcastle with a commanding 2-goal lead at the half? Goals to tell you about. Another goal at the City ground. It could have been a late twist in the tail where Arsenal from a very commanding position have been pegged back late on, and it's Taiwo Awoniyi. It could be a massive masterstroke from Nuno Espirito Santo. Put him in the squad, hoping that he could get a couple of minutes. He said that he wasn't fully fit, but from that strike, from that finish, he seems fully fit to me. Taiwo Awoniyi getting a late goal for Nottingham Forest, and maybe the game isn't over yet, although there is a VAR check ongoing for a possible offside. 89 minutes gone. Forest at the moment, pending a VAR check, have a goal back against Arsenal at the moment. Still, everywhere else, it remains the same as Fulham and Everton playing it out at goalless draw. Luton 4 up against Brighton. Palace and Sheffield United locked at 2-2. And Villa losing at home to Fabian Schär's brace. The second half from Villa Park is on the way next. We'll update you as to whether that Nottingham Forest goal will stand in just a moment. Do stay with us. Welcome back to Premier League Live. Half-time at Villa Park. It is Newcastle 2 to the good. Just to confirm then for you, that Nottingham Forest goal does stand. Taiwo Awoniyi check for a tight offside, but the goal stands, and with 5 minutes of additional time, Forest will make a late push to try and nick a point off Arsenal, who led by 2-0 in that one, and they're pushing it very far here, and they'll get a corner. Nottingham Forest. Don't forget, more Premier League football for you tomorrow night. We're live from Anfield as Liverpool look to keep their keep their commanding lead at the top of the Premier League going, and stretch that lead again to 5 points. If Arsenal do end up winning tonight, they will face Chelsea at Anfield tomorrow night, a repeat of the opening game of the season. That's tomorrow. 8:15 kickoff will be live from 8 o'clock for all the build up to that one, plus updates from the two earlier games between Man City, Burnley and Spurs Brentford. That's tomorrow on LFS. Right, all 22 players and the referee and the officials back out on the field for the second half at Villa Park, where Villa have a mountain to climb. They have 45 minutes to change the fortunes of this game and to try and keep their unbeaten home record continuing. Or will Newcastle be the first side to beat them on this ground this season? Well, they have a very good lead to help them in doing that, but I'm sure Villa will come out firing from at the start of the second half. I'm sure Unai Emery was not happy at half-time with how his side performed. They were pretty poor in that first half, just lacking in all areas. Aston Villa, struggling to deal with the press. The goalkeeper wasn't at the top of his game. Issue here at the City ground, I'm sure. We'll tell you about that in a moment. And Newcastle trying to threaten, and the ball behind for a corner to Newcastle early on, so that's not the way Villa would have wanted to start the half. Just wondering what's happening at the City ground. Seems to be a stoppage. I saw a VAR graphic come up there, and I think they might have been checking for a penalty to Forest. I don't think they've given that. Because at the moment, it seems like the referee's just going to drop the ball down for David Raya. He is. So the game will restart there for a drop ball to Arsenal. 2 minutes to go in that one. It's still 2-1. That Newcastle corner, by the way, came to nothing. Sven Botman heading behind for a goal kick. Again, not commanding defensively from Villa at all. They headed it into the body of Sven Botman there. Esri Konsa on his opposite number. But I mean, Unai Emery will be disappointed based on the fact that his side have conceded from 2 set pieces. That will be the big disappointment. You know, they pride themselves, Villa, on being so good from set pieces, both sides of the ball, in terms of set pieces, both defensively and in attacking areas. I mean, they're one of the most threatening sides from set pieces since he's come into the club, Unai Emery. An issue there. The referee's given a free kick against Youri Tielemans. So a free kick for Newcastle. Newcastle not taking their foot off the pedal. They want to maintain the pressure on Villa to start the second half and not allow them the opportunity to come out firing and to try and peg Newcastle back and get themselves back into the game in Aston Villa. But another set piece for them to defend. Jacob Murphy and Kieran Trippier over this one. Trippier has been important for them. Takes it right-footed, ball delivered in, and Consta got the header to it first, and then it loops up into the hands of Emi Martinez in the Villa goal. Much better. Well better dealt with there from Villa, really. Esri Konsa seemed to be the real target of Newcastle's kind of pressure in that first half. And at times he did kind of make the mistakes. You know, giving the ball away in cheap areas that he shouldn't be, and a lack of composure. That was good from Alex Moreno. Skips past Kieran Trippier and has an amount of space, beautiful amount of space down the left-hand side. Early delivery into the box, cleared away by Sven Botman. And then they go down the other end now, Newcastle. Ball in behind. Anthony Gordon's made the run, but sweeper keeper role, and Emi Martinez comes flying out and allows Villa to keep the ball. Camera. Nice ball. Tielemans made the run in behind. Ollie Watkins breaking off the defender, and good defending by Dubravka. And the referee's given a free kick to Newcastle for a late challenge on Martin Dubravka. I mean, I don't think there's a free kick in there, really. Really good from Kamara to find the run of Youri Tielemans just right through the middle. Then Watkins delays and waits for that ball to sneak past the Newcastle defence in behind. Really good idea. And Fabian Schär almost caught out. Oh, Ollie Watkins, I think, does miss the ball there completely. We'll see this again. Oh, no, his butt. It's actually his right foot. He touches the top of the ball with his right foot. He stands on it, really, and slides over the ball, which makes him kind of collide into Martin Dubravka. It's unintentional, accidental indeed, but still a sore one for the Newcastle keeper. Of course, their number one keeper, Nick Pope, is out at the moment. The sub-keeper on the bench is Loris Karius, if he is needed to be called upon for Newcastle. Martin Dubravka receiving treatment at the moment, getting that special spray. A final score from the City ground. Late drama from Forest, but too little too late, really, from Nuno Espirito Santo's side. An 89th minute goal from Taiwo Awoniyi got them back into the game, but there wasn't enough time to complete the comeback. And Arsenal do hold on at the City ground in another tight game between these two sides, where Arsenal get the 3 points. Jesus and Saka to give them a 2-goal lead before a 1. You got a goal back for Forest late on, but it's Arsenal to get the win after a very good, lot of dominance in that game, and they now go within 2 points of league leaders Liverpool, but of course Liverpool still yet to play. And that's the first conclusion of our 5 games this evening in the Premier League, and Forest beaten at home a narrow win in the end for Arsenal, but a bit hopeful from Forest in the end. Anyway, Anthony Gordon trying to give Newcastle even more of a lead. It's in the net. It's Jacob Murphy. Bundles it over the line. And it's going from bad to worse for Aston Villa. There is a man down in the issue here to... Who's that? There's a Villa man on the floor in a lot of pain. But Jacob Murphy running away to celebrate. And gives Newcastle a 3-goal lead at Villa Park. It's Alex Moreno who's in a lot of pain and is going to receive treatment here. But there should be no concern over this goal whatsoever. It's poor again from Villa, allowing Newcastle to win the ball back in a simple area. When Villa were controlled in possession, Gordon just comes away with the ball, feeds the ball. First time for Miguel Almiron, who just fires it across goal. And Jacob Murphy not covered over well by Alex Moreno. Really good with his right boot. Murphy knows he just needs to knock it into the path of Alex Moreno, who's coming sliding in, and he ends up putting it into the back of his own net, Moreno, and in the process colliding with that right post quite significantly. Oh, that does look painful on Alex Moreno. Keeper beaten. Murphy, really smart play, and he gets a slice of luck, but Newcastle you have to create your own luck. And a really good counter-attacking move. Really good press to win the ball back. Villa poor again. Too easy to give the ball away. And Newcastle end up scoring from that position once again. And the task that they wanted to conduct in this second half, Aston Villa, has just got much harder for them. 8 minutes into the half. It is now Aston Villa 0. Newcastle United 3. A bit of shell shock really here at Villa Park, where Villa have been nowhere near the level and Newcastle have taken full advantage of those situations every single time. And it's a bit of deja vu really from the game, the reverse fixture back in August, where Newcastle thumped Villa by 5-1. A really poor game from Villa again. It was just far too easy. Far too easy. And at the minute, barring a miracle comeback, Villa are on the verge of their first home defeat of the season. I mean, it's still a long way to go in this half, but a 3-goal deficit is as tough as anything for any team to try and overcome. Ball out from the back, and with the way Villa have played, it doesn't look like they're going to get into any position to kind of cut the deficit at the minute. If anything, it looks like Newcastle are in firm grip and firm groove to extend their lead further as the half goes on. Goal at Selhurst Park, and maybe Crystal Palace have broken the duck. They went behind, they levelled, went behind again and brought it back level. This time they've done one better. They have taken the lead, and the man returning to the side from injury, Michael Elise, has back in the team and back on the score sheet for Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace 3, Sheffield United 2, and from 2 times they led in that game, Sheffield United, to try and get their first away win of the season, they are behind at Selhurst Park. An all too familiar kind of scoreline and outcome away from home this season for Sheffield United. 3-2 to Crystal Palace. We'll update you on anything that happens elsewhere. Fulham and Everton going into the final minutes. Goalless it remains there. Will one side find a winner? Luton, well, there's not much concern as to what the final result's going to be there. Luton seem to be getting the 3 points quite convincingly. 4-0 winner leaders over Brighton at this moment in time. Crystal Palace edging that game 3-2, but there's still more long time to go in that one at Selhurst Park. 20 minutes to go and about 5 minutes to go in those 2 other games. And of course Villa 3-0 down at home in our game. Well, The last 17 Premier League home games, Villa, they've won 16 out of 17. Incredible record that Unai Emery has built up at this ground. He has made Villa Park an absolute fortress for Aston Villa. It's no doubt that that is key to their league position this season. The best home record of any team in the Premier League. One of 3 teams unbeaten at home, and they have more points than anyone else at home this campaign. But at the minute, they have been totally outmastered, outclassed, and outfought, and kind of performed in all areas on the pitch tonight. I mean, still another 33 minutes to go plus additional time. There's still a mountain of this game to be played, but the way it's going at the moment, it doesn't look like Villa are going to get anywhere near Newcastle or even stop them from getting a clean sheet at Villa Park. Something that no side has been able to do in a long, long time at Villa Park. Not even Manchester City or Arsenal could do that. We will see if Villa can conjure up one of the comebacks of the season. It would take a lot. Who knows? Who knows? And it's a game that Newcastle really need to win, of course. You know, you're looking... I mean, we talk about that game, that reverse fixture at the start of August. I mean, after that game, little did Villa fans believe that they would be kind of miles clear of Newcastle at the top. At the moment, here's the chance for Villa. Watkins in the box. Couldn't get the touch to get the connection, to get the finish, and to get Villa back in it. He continued his run, Ollie Watkins, and done really well, but received the ball at the wrong moment. Just waited slightly too long to deliver that ball. Moreno's ball misplaced and shared to clear it away. Little did Villa fans believe, as I mentioned after match day 1, that they would be 11 points clear of Newcastle as it stands at the moment, this minute in time, with Newcastle winning. And inside the top 4, just 5 points off league leaders Liverpool. That they would laugh at you based on their first performance against Newcastle, but it seems to be rinse and repeat for Eddie Howe's side, who have lost all of their last 4 Premier League games, home and away. And they have responded to that run incredibly here this evening. Been by far the better of the 2 teams on the night. That's Newcastle United. And we look at those games that they have lost. I mean, in recent weeks. I mean, Manchester City, a narrow game, very tight, lost it in the last minute. Liverpool, where they were completely outmastered. I mean, Liverpool on that day were very, if not no team in the world would have beaten Liverpool on that day. They were absolutely incredible in attacking areas, Liverpool. Forest at home, to lose to Forest at home is a big shock, and then Luton away. You know, Forest and Luton defeats will be disappointing for Eddie Howe. Liverpool and Man City, they can happen, both at Anfield, but Anfield and St James's Park there. But there are only 2 wins this calendar year so far in January has come in the FA Cup. 3-0 away at Sunderland and 2-0 away at Fulham. At the moment, they're following up that Fulham result with a commanding lead at Villa Park. But here's Moussa Diaby, rounds the keeper, and the strike is tame and easily put behind for a Villa corner. And that gets a response from Ollie Watkins, who wants a response from the crowd. Really good from Villa. Nice touch by McGinn. Lays it off to Ollie Watkins. Feeds the ball in behind for Diaby, who rounds the keeper. And then he just tries to roll it into the net, but nowhere near enough power to beat the Newcastle defender coming in there. As the corner gets whipped in. Cleared away by Newcastle. Tielemans to win it back, though. Here's Douglas Luiz. Changes coming in a moment. 30 minutes to go. Alex Moreno. Douglas Luiz. Well, need a goal to spark any hope of a comeback into life. Ezri Konsa to Matty Cash. Villa, I think 3 substitutions they're readying on the sidelines. So Unai Emery wanting a real refresh of his team. Konsa with the ball. Cash had made the run. Cash was involved, and that run forced Dan Burn to head it out of play for a throw-in. Better from Villa. And now the ball has gone out of play. Villa are going to make those changes then. The first of which will be Moussa Diaby to be replaced by Leon Bailey. So a change up front, like for like swap. So Diaby off, Bailey on. The next one will be Yuri Tielemans is going to make way for Nicolo Zaniolo. And the third substitution will be Jacob Ramsey is going to come on. And he is going to replace Boubacar Kamara. So the 3 subs for Villa are as follows. Kamara, Diaby and Tielemans all being replaced by Zaniolo, Bailey and Ramsey. So a refresh in the Villa attacking approach to see if they can spark any sort of a comeback. Here is Bailey. First involvement. Gets it back to Cash. Konsa. Newcastle getting all their bodies behind the ball at the moment. The only man up there is Anthony Gordon. Playing a very low 4-5-1 at the minute. It seems out of possession, Newcastle. Luis can't break his way through that strong midfield 5 of Newcastle. And they try and force the counter, but Matty Cash was quick to it, anticipated it and won it back. Here's Zaniolo. Getting caught in possession, but kept the ball. Finds Cash. Now Bailey. Breaks to the byline. Cross from Leon Bailey. Cleared away, well, half cleared by Trippier. And followed up by Murphy. Villa will win it back again. And will come at Newcastle's defence again. A defence which seems pretty well protected at the moment. Here's Zaniolo. Up against Botman. Back to McGinn. Spreads it across. Moreno on the edge of the box. Dealt with well by Trippier. And then Murphy to Longstaff. And the return ball 1-2 from Guimaraes given away. Luis won it back. Finds Moreno. Again. Nicked away from him by Trippier. Trippier trying to get Newcastle on the break. That time that was caught out by Anthony Gordon, who is deemed to be a bit over-exuberant in his challenges there. Free kick to Aston Villa. Last few moments at Craven Cottage, where both of these sides went out in the cup in the weekend, and neither could get on the score sheet tonight. Final score 0-0. In that one, chance for Ollie Watkins there, straight into the hands of Dubravka. As was mentioned, Fulham and Everton goalless, and it looks like Everton will be inside the bottom 3. They needed a win to fend off a Luton win and fend off a chance and keep themselves out of the bottom 3, but it's not to be the case for Everton tonight. Held at, well, they're holding each other. Fulham and Everton, both defences coming out on top in the end there, with a combined 42 shots from both teams overall in the game. 25 from Fulham, 17 from Everton. Just to let you know, after that earlier challenge where Dubravka went down with that collision with Ollie Watkins, he's gone down again. It doesn't look good because Loris Karius is readying himself on the sidelines. So it looks like Newcastle will be down to their 3rd choice goalkeeper, it seems, if Dubravka can't continue. He's getting a bit of strapping at the moment. Maybe Loris Karius is getting ready as a precaution. Interesting from the Championship tonight. Remember, the league leaders Leicester are playing Swansea, and they've beaten them by 3-0 to extend their lead at the top of the Championship to 10 points before Ipswich play again. So 10-point lead for Leicester City. 3-1 winners against Swansea. So, at the moment, Arsenal have beaten Forest, fending off that late Taiwo Awoniyi goal. to lead 2-1 and to win 2-1, and Fulham and Everton playing out a goalless draw at Craven Cottage. Last few moments at Kenilworth Road, and it will erupt inside Kenilworth Road as Luton look to have been destroying Brighton since minute 1, and they are 4-0 leaders in that one at the moment. Incredible feat it would be for Luton, and they're on the verge of that, and that game has just concluded at Kenilworth Road. Luton 4, Brighton 0. No one, and I mean no one, would have predicted that at the start of play. Luton 4, Brighton 0. That takes them out of the bottom 3. We'll run you through the table a bit later on in this game as well. Tell you what the impact is for these two teams as well as the rest of the Premier League. So do stay with us for that as well. Here this evening, Villa have a throw-in. Moreno. Luis. They need to get themselves going here, Villa. The longer it takes them to try and get a goal back, the less likely, of course, it will be that they will even get anywhere near threatening Newcastle's very convincing and very under control lead of 3-0. It's been an interesting start to the Premier League match week, this midweek set of fixtures. We've 5 more games to come over the next 2 evenings, 3 games tomorrow night, with the all eyes will be on Anfield, Liverpool the league leaders, welcoming Chelsea to Anfield, where the reverse fixture was a 1-1 draw on the opening weekend of the season, and Chelsea arguably the better side in that game. Liverpool went on to improve ever since and remain the best side in the Premier League as it stands at the moment. Chelsea struggling outside of European places at the moment. That's tomorrow night. And then our key game on Thursday night of the 2 games, Wolves against Manchester United. And United look to want to improve their position in the table. Wolves will want a bit of revenge from that close game on match day 1 where they felt they were robbed by an awful VAR decision in that one, which VAR and the Premier League leader said was a mistake. That's Thursday night. Here is Villa. Here's Leon Bailey. Feeds it through for Cash. Cash across. And somehow Martin Dubravka gets it away. Really good from Leon Bailey. Knows that Dan Burn has fully committed himself. Spins the other way, Leon Bailey. Bursts into space. Knows that everybody's anticipating him taking the strike at the edge. Just side foots it into the path of Matty Cash, and then Cash takes the strike, which is deflected wide by Dubravka. Luis to take this corner for Villa. A chance. Corner taken short. Bailey. Back to Luis. Better angle of it. Takes a deflection over the bar corner. Again for Aston Villa. If they build up a bit of momentum, you never know. They could get a goal back that could change the dynamics and the momentum of this game. That corner, another corner taken short, but this time much better dealt with by Newcastle, who forced Villa all the way back to their keeper, Martinez. His ball picked up by Trippier for Newcastle, and now Newcastle through the middle. Here's Anthony Gordon. He's on his own. Gordon hits it wide of the left post, but he was offside in any case there, as the flag from the official on that side goes up after the strike has been taken. Still playing at Selhurst Park, the only other game ongoing at the moment, where Crystal Palace are leading Sheffield United by 3-2. Sheffield United trying to respond. They were the team that took the lead twice in the game and pegged back twice by Palace before Palace took the lead in the second half. Chance for Villa! Goal for Villa. Ollie Watkins. Maybe a bit of hope for Unai Emery's side later on. Still a long way to go, and still a lot for Aston Villa to do. But Ollie Watkins' goal drought comes to an end. 6 games without a goal for Villa. And from 3-0 down there, get a goal back. It's again Leon Bailey stretching the Newcastle defence. Made the run in behind. Beautiful touch. Knows Ollie Watkins going to be in the middle. Squares it across, and Watkins makes no doubt with a finish. Really good cross from Bailey, and Watkins just connects with it beautifully with his left. And the power and the pace behind the ball Fires it past Martin Dubravka in the Newcastle goal. No chance for the keeper there. And Aston Villa have a slight bit of hope that they could get themselves back into this game. Watkins on the score sheet. Aston Villa 1, Newcastle United 0. Or 3. What am I talking about? 3-1. Still a lot for Aston Villa to do, though. And now the game's just boiled over a bit. Here's Jacob Murphy. He's complaining to the referee about something. It's Douglas Luiz. It's going to get booked here. It's gone a bit extreme. I mean, it's Douglas Luiz and Jacob Murphy. I mean, it's Moreno, actually, that's pushed over. And then the Murphy just says that he was using his right arm to try and challenge for the ball. Douglas Luiz just shoulder barges Jacob Murphy and ends up getting the yellow card for it. So Villa have a man in the book as well to boot. Ball in behind. Here's Ollie Watkins again. It's 2. But the flag is up, actually. And that curtails the Villa celebrations pretty quickly. Again, Newcastle don't deal with it on the first one. They just, bit of head tennis. They just can't get it down onto their feet. And that is as tight can be. Ollie Watkins think he's slightly offside, but the ball was in the net before the flag went up. And VAR will have a tough job here at trying to figure this one out. It is tight as tight can be. And I think one of his furthest forward foot is just offside, I think. That's what might save Newcastle here. Inches, really. But we will see what VAR and their verdict is when the lines are drawn. But this stadium has come to life all of a sudden, Villa Park. Even if this goal is disallowed, or this disallowed goal remains disallowed and it isn't given, this game is completely different than what it was 5-10 minutes ago. The atmosphere inside Villa Park is chalk and cheese. It's completely different, and the decision is no goal, so the on-field decision was correct. Just offside, Ollie Watkins. Could have been a real fairy tale, but still a chance for Villa somehow. From one moment from Villa being completely dominated out of the game, and now the momentum's completely swung the other way. Here's Leon Bailey. Goes again. Zaniolo makes the run into the box. Zaniolo cuts it back. Bailey with a strike over the bar. Bit excited there, Leon Bailey. And fired it over the bar for the goal kick. Still 15 minutes to go. It seems like every time Villa come forward, you think Newcastle are going to concede. And Eddie Howe knows that. He's going to make a change. And he's going to swap out Lewis Smiley for Tino Livramento. And it looked like Tino Livramento there said 4 in midfield. Might go to a 5-4-1, maybe a back 5 for Newcastle. They add that extra bit of a defensive structure for them, maybe. Help them out. Ensuring this game doesn't completely fall away from them. Dubravka with the long kick. Flicked on first time. Cash with the scorpion kick to get it away. Cash again. McGinn under pressure. Has to go back towards his own goal. Back to his own keeper. Martinez. And Villa trying to get themselves forward. Here's McGinn. Turns to get Villa up the pitch. Moreno. Now Douglas Luiz. Eyeing a forward pass. He's got space and time to figure it out. Finds the ball to Zaniolo, but doubly marked there was Zaniolo. Late shove by John McGinn. And that was always going to be pulled back for a free kick there. And John McGinn, another booking for Aston Villa. Just comes flying in on Guimaraes here. No need from John McGinn there. Letting him know where he is. And John McGinn booked. Joins Douglas Luiz and Boubacar Kamara. All three bookings tonight are for Villa players. But I mean, this game turned on its head. Newcastle haven't had a shot on target in the second half. Of course, that goal, their third goal, goes down as an Alex Moreno own goal, of course, as Moreno kind of bundled it over the line. Whether he meant to or not, it went over the line because of his touch. So Moreno own goal, with no shots on target in the second half. Newcastle Villa having 4. They're really piling on the pressure, Aston Villa, on Newcastle. But Newcastle still have a 2-goal lead that sees them in a bit of comfort. But Jacob Murphy trying to help them across the line, and he's performed really well. Jacob Murphy in that front three, probably the best of the three. With Isak going off early, and they get a corner here, Newcastle. Murphy won that corner. And this would be a huge moment for Newcastle. Trippier, with his delivery, a 4th goal would certainly wrap it up for Newcastle, but Villa defend for their lives to keep it at 2 goals and keep their hope of a comeback alive. Trippier with a delivery to the edge of the box, and just goes wide, but a Clement Longley deflection will carry it wide for another Newcastle corner. Again, not dealt with as Fabian Schär on a hat-trick. They got the connection, and Clement Longley had to slide for it, as it might have put pressure on Emi Martinez. And there's a Villa player down as well. Douglas Luiz there, the man that was down, back to his feet. Newcastle have another corner. Villa, another corner to defend. Trippier, right-footed delivery, headed away at the front post by Zaniolo. Brought down by McGinn. Trying to get Villa on the front foot. This time blocked off by Guimaraes, but McGinn won the throw-in. Allows Villa to come forward once again. Cash. That ball cannons its way off Douglas Luiz back into Newcastle possession, and Trippier's ball there. Nowhere near any of the targets there, and easily collected by Martinez from the goal kick. Konsa. Martinez. Just over 10 minutes plus additional time to go. Another goal for Villa would certainly put the cat amongst the pigeons at Villa Park and put fear into the hearts of Newcastle fans and the players, surely, and their manager, I'm sure, Eddie Howe. But Villa need to get the ball forward to do that, as we're surpassed the 80th minute. Konsa with the ball, spreads it out to the right hand side, finds its way off Cash with the ball, looking for Bailey, blocked off, cleared away by Newcastle, but that gives Villa a bit more hope. Luiz. Now McGinn. He goes wide. Moreno. Linking up with Ramsey. Now Douglas Luiz. The concert. Ball over the top. Ramsey made the run, but Martin Dubravka calmly takes the ball into his grasp and denies Villa a chance there. I have to say, Jacob Ramsey's not really lit up the game since coming onto the field. Leon Bailey's been made a massive impact for Aston Villa. Completely changed the game down that right hand side. It's given Dan Burn a bit of a shock down that side. Moussa Diaby's been well dealt with all night, but Bailey's a completely different prospect to deal with defensively. As Newcastle try and keep it up the other side of the pitch. Here's Livramento. Longstaff. All the way back to Sven Botman. Share. Now finds it to Trippier. Just keep Villa off the ball for as long as possible. Again, that ball from Trippier is cleared away, but one back by Newcastle. And then that one's fired long, allowing Villa to win the ball back. Moreno. Still ongoing at Sellers Park, where Palace are leading Sheffield United by 3 goals to 2. Is there late drama there? We will wait and see. Or will Roy Hodgson's side get the victory and keep Sheffield United bottom of the Premier League table? At one point, they were winning that game. On 2 occasions, they were winning that game. Sheffield United pegged back twice, and then Palace took the initiative and took the lead for the first time of the night through Michael Olise to give them a 3-2 lead. Luis. Now Matty Cash. Newcastle getting all the bodies to try and block any chance of Villa getting the ball forward. Esri Konsa. This is where the mentality kicks in for both teams, that is. Newcastle, in terms of their defensive structure, staying concentrated, not allowing spaces to open up, and allow Villa to make those moves to try and open up their defence, and at any given chance just fire the ball long, get it as far away from your goal as possible. You wouldn't think that Newcastle are leading by 2 goals here, really, would you? But that's the do say goals change games, and Villa getting a goal back really has turned this game on its head. It's completely flipped it from Newcastle in calm control of it to Villa being all over Newcastle. Here's Zaniolo. Ball into the box. Watkins was there, but Dubravka got up and confidently claimed it ahead of the Villa number 11. But again, Watkins has been much more of a threat since those subs have come onto the pitch, and Zaniolo and Bailey been able to pick out the Villa striker on more occasions than Villa did in the whole rest of the game. That's another foul given away by John McGinn. Free kick to Newcastle. The more times this happens, the less likely it is for Aston Villa to really garner momentum and pace and pressure on Newcastle. The more times and the more often that the game is broken up in these dying minutes, the more likely it is Newcastle are just going to see this out and get a huge 3 points on the road for only the 2nd time this season. And Villa drop points and lose at home for the first time this campaign, it would be. Here's Ramsey trying to get them forward, and that's a late challenge by Kieran Trippier, which will give Villa a set-piece chance in the middle. Luis takes it quickly, finds Jacob Ramsey on the left, back to Luis. 5 minutes plus additional time to go. Goal for Villa now would be really, this stadium would erupt. Luis finds it to McGinn. Now down the right is Bailey. Leon Bailey working his way through. Just overhit the pass to Zaniolo. It would have been incredible if he'd found that pass. And all the hard work and just the pass let him down. Ball from Martinez, though, and straight back into the possession of Newcastle and Kieran Trippier. Experienced head on his shoulders, and Kieran Trippier knows how to delay a game, and Sean Longstaff knows how to eke out a free kick. Got one there from Nicolo Zaniolo. So free kick for Newcastle. Still playing at Sellers Park. 11 added minutes were in that game. They've now into the 10th minute of added time in that one. Incredible. And it's been all Sheffield United for the majority of the last 10-15 minutes to try and push for a late equaliser. And still another minute for them to try and find one. It's another issue. Nasty clash there. Kieran Trippier gone down. He said he was caught by Alex Moreno, the assistant on that side. I think he flagged it. Trippier's back to his feet. See this again, the free kick ticking quickly, and then all down the line, and Moreno just kind of collides. Uses his right. Yeah, it's one of those ones where it's straight impact onto the face of Kieran Trippier. It's not intentional whatsoever from Alex Moreno, but it is a foul, and it is a free kick for Newcastle, and that will again take further pressure off their defence, and Villa's minimal hope of a comeback by the second diminishing bit by bit. Kieran Trippier is back on his feet and will be taking this free kick for Newcastle in a very good area high up on the right hand side. Kieran Trippier. Whistle goes. He's still trying to compose himself after that kind of collision with Moreno. Trippier, right footed delivery. Headed away at the front post. Comes back away towards Trippier. And he's beaten off the ball by Jacob Ramsey, and then the ball from Zaniolo is misplaced. Newcastle come away with it. Here's Murphy. Trippier now finds the Murphy again. Held back, and Ramsey to break it apart and win it back for Villa. Martinez. Nice takedown by Zaniolo. Gets it back to Luis. Villa need to get the ball forward. Here's Konsa. And then given away again by Villa. And here comes Almiron. Finds the pass. Oh, good save by Emi Martinez. No chance. Should have been beaten easily there, and Newcastle let him away with one. Luis. Ball over the top. Run by Bailey. Livramento. Battling. Beaten by Leon Bailey. Bailey with the delivery. Watkins was closest, nowhere near it. Falls to Luis. Pressure kept on, whipped it in. Zaniolo was closest, but he couldn't get a clean connection on it. Cleared away by Newcastle. Last 30 seconds of the 90. We'll figure out how many added minutes we will have. Final score from Sellers Park, and Palace behind twice, back level twice through Berriese, and the winner from Michael Elise to give Palace 3 points at home against bottom of the side Sheffield United, bottom of the table Sheffield United. The shot from John McGinn there from distance was straight into the hands of Dubravka, which brings that bit of momentum for Villa in attacking areas to a very abrupt end. But there is still a long way to go. The board goes up and it displays 9 minutes. 9 added minutes at Villa Park. So still a lot of time for the game to change. Ramsey. Could we see a very late twist in the tail of this game? Cash. They need to get the second goal, Villa, first, if they're going to try and conjure up a comeback. Cash. Bailey finds Matty Cash and they continued his run, and the ball goes behind for a corner to Aston Villa. Bailey over to take this corner. 7 corners apiece for these two teams tonight. Leon Bailey with Villa's 7th. Left-footed delivery right into the box. Headed on, but headed over by Clement Longley. And behind for a goal kick. See this replay again. Really good. Clement Longley to beat past Fabian Scher, and then just really should be just tapping that one. He kind of connects with it a bit too much, a bit too well, and heads it over the bar. And the Newcastle away stand that have travelled down from the northeast to Birmingham. And it'll be the first time this season, really, that the away fans inside Villa Park will be the happier at full time. 10 previous occasions this season. Villa 9 wins, 1 draw. This will be their first home defeat this campaign, which is absolutely incredible, by the way. Only 2 other sides would remain unbeaten at home, and that will be Manchester City and Liverpool. Aston Villa, even with this defeat, would have more points at home than any other side in the Premier League. 28 points at home. Liverpool and Arsenal second to that on 26. Newcastle, actually, in fact, third on 24 points at home. Here's Nicolo Zaniolo. Couldn't beat past a couple of bodies. Anthony Gordon getting back in deep to help out. Keep the pressure away from Newcastle defensively. One back by Longley. And Ramsey beaten down there. Will be another free kick to Villa. Anthony Gordon this time. The man who fouled. The young Englishman. And Anthony Gordon, the first Newcastle player booked this evening for that challenge. McGinn with the ball. Bailey the threat on the right, but well held off by Livramento at that time. And every time Villa come forward, every question they ask of the Newcastle defence, they come up with the answer each and every time. Here's Jacob Ramsey. Bit of a tussle off the ball with Moreno there. Ramsey with the ball in. Cleared away. Moreno back to his feet after that tussle. Ball nicked away by Zaniolo, but the referee said he committed the foul in the process, and he will go into the book. Now Nicolo Zaniolo. And that really it's just unnecessary. Like, so avoidable, and you know, experience tells you not to do that. Avoid giving fouls away, because it'll only help Newcastle now that this game is stopped and it's slow and it's taking the sting out of it. Those set piece those free kicks just takes the pressure off Newcastle, allows them time to breathe, allows them time to recover, to refresh, to go again. Gives them a chance to take stock and go again with 4 minutes to go. I mean, if it wasn't a pipe dream before, it certainly is at the minute now for Villa. It's as slim as it ever could be. But you never know. It's never over till it's over. Here's Ollie Watkins, beating his way through, but had 2 men in his wake. And they did very, very well in stopping Ollie Watkins with any chance down that left-hand side goal kick to Newcastle. Don't forget, we're going to run you through those final scores from those other games this evening at full time. Plus, we'll have a quick look ahead to what's coming up in the rest of this midweek in the Premier League on LFS. And we will have a quick look at the final Premier League table for after these 5 games this evening. Some incredible results, some big results at both ends of the table. We'll talk about it at full time. A quick chat at the end of this game. Still a couple of minutes to go in this one as well. Flag up there against Gordon from the goal kick for Newcastle. So we'll give Villa a free kick and a chance to come forward again. Luis. Moreno. Luis. Longley to McGinn. Now Matty Cash looking for options. Space not anywhere near spotted for Villa at the minute. They're trying to fire all the bodies up. Newcastle have all the bodies behind the ball. It's about who strikes first. Ball over the top for Villa. Well dealt with by Livramento and cleared away by Newcastle. Way down the pitch. It's really smart, that. Well, let's talk about what these two sides have to come. Next up for Villa is a trip to Sheffield United. That's on Saturday at 5:30. Just to wait, there's a good chance here. Matty Cash with the delivery goes out for a corner off Livramento. Newcastle have a trip welcome Luton, the side that beat them earlier in this campaign at Kenilworth Road. They head to St James's Park at 3 o'clock on Saturday. So both sides playing Saturday afternoon. A bit of time to recover from this very intense game. Corner whipped in, headed cleared away by Miguel Almiron at the front post, and Luis to have it back for Villa. McGinn, the last man. Villa, all of those outfield bodies up in those attacking areas, hoping for one good ball into the box. Zaniolo took a very bad first touch and then ended up committing the foul that will give Newcastle a free kick and surely take it all away from Villa now. I mean, it's got to the point now where this game's just got a bit scrappy. Neither side has energy. They're both exhausted. Exhausted at the moment. Zaniolo, not happy that he's been the man penalised. He felt he was fouled, but it's not a foul against him. It's one of those collisions, both connecting feet. It is a free kick to Newcastle. As the last minute of the game, and Newcastle using every tactic they have, and they're going to make another change to just waste a slight bit more time. They're going to take Anthony Gordon off, and they're going to replace him with Matt Ritchie. So Ritchie's coming on to replace Anthony Gordon late in the game. Seconds to go, and Villa on the verge of losing at home for the first time this season. This goal kick from Dubravka as we surpass the 9 added minutes that were initially put on the board. It's been a very disrupted bits of additional time, so there may be a bit more to play. I mean, Villa Park has seemed to emptied from the stand that I can see visible. A lot of Villa fans want to beat the traffic, beat the post-game rush, but they're playing nice football on the edge of the box and have a strike that goes well wide from Ollie Watkins, and that pretty much sums up their night. The final whistle goes from John Brooks, the referee, and Villa beaten at home. Their fantastic home form this season, their unbeaten home record, comes to an end against a side who'd lost their last 4 Premier League games, both home and away. Fabian Schär, the unlikely goal scorer of 2 goals for Newcastle in the first half, both from set pieces, where Villa should have done so much better defensively. The third, an unfortunate one for Alex Moreno, but Jacob Murphy knew what he was doing very smartly, put it into the path of Moreno as he was sliding back towards his own goal, cascaded in off the Villa left back into the back of his own net. Villa got one back through Ollie Watkins with 20 minutes to go, and it kind of gave Villa a bit of hope to push on. Maybe a comeback was possible, but they just weren't able to capitalise upon it. Watkins put the ball in the back of the net again, but that time he was narrowly offside. But after that, they struggled to really have any clear-cut chances in front of goal, really. Newcastle shored up defensively and shut Aston Villa out after that goal. A massive result for Newcastle, a much needed 3 points that pushes them up the table. Villa stay inside the top 4, but a defeat for the first time at home this season, and for the first time at Villa Park, it's the away fans that are the happier of the two sets. Final score from Villa Park, it's Aston Villa 1, Newcastle United 3. And there you go. A big result for Newcastle. A big result in terms of the table as well. 4 other games that went underway tonight, and we'll just recap them for you here just before we leave you this evening. First of which, an early kick-off between Nottingham Forest and Arsenal. Arsenal went struggled in that first half to find any clear-cut chances and take a lead. Goalless at the half, but Gabriel Jesus and Bukayo Saka in the second half gave Arsenal a 2-goal lead. An 89th minute goal from Taiwo Awoniyi that needed VAR to check it. It was ratified and Forest got one back, but it was too little too late from Nuno Espirito Santo's side, who couldn't complete the comeback, and Arsenal hold on to go within 2 points of league leaders Liverpool, but Liverpool still to play. Well, neither side could find the net at Craven Cottage. Fulham and Everton played out a goalless draw, despite the sides having over 46 shots to shared between them. 25 for Fulham, 21 for Everton, but neither side could find the back of the net. The defence is coming out on top on the night, both keeping a clean sheet, a point apiece, but not enough to keep Everton out of the bottom 3 because of this shock result at Kenilworth Road. A huge win for Luton Town. An Elijah Adebayo hat-trick. He scored in the first minute to give Luton a 1-goal lead. Then Chiedozie Ogbene doubled Luton's lead in the 3rd minute. They stormed into a 2-goal lead, shocked Brighton, and they didn't recover from that. Roberto De Zerbi side 3 down before the half through Adebayo with his second in the 42nd minute before he completed the hat-trick and completed a perfect night for Luton at Kenilworth Road. The return of their captain, Tom Lockyer, had a heart problem on the field against Bournemouth a few weeks ago. Back at Kenilworth Road tonight with a tear in his eye as he walked around the stadium before kick-off. Well, he was shown a real spectacle with his side performing incredibly well against Roberto De Zerbi's Brighton. 4-0 winners, Luton there. And a very close game, a back and forth, end-to-end, tip-toe game between Crystal Palace and Sheffield United. Sheffield United took the lead in that one in the first minute. Burton Diaz with a goal levelled by Eze for Palace. McAtee put Sheffield United back in front before Eze levelled it again for Palace. That was 2-2 at the half before Michael Elise, back in the team from injury and back on the score sheet, getting Palace 3 points at home and denying Sheffield United would have been a huge any sort of points away from home for Sheffield United, who remain bottom of the Premier League. And then Villa 1, Newcastle United 3. 5 more games to come over the next 2 nights, as you can see on your screen. Manchester City, Burnley, Tottenham, Brentford and Liverpool, Chelsea is tomorrow night before West Ham, Bournemouth and Wolves, Manchester United on Thursday night. And we will have live commentary of Liverpool's game against Chelsea and Wolves' game against Manchester United on Wednesday and Thursday nights. This is how the table looks after tonight's action, as Arsenal jump up above Manchester City, with City having now still to play this midweek and a game in hand over the sides around them. City 5 points off the top of the Premier League table. Liverpool still to play. They are still the league leaders by 2 points over Arsenal and could extend that back to 5 points with 3 points against Chelsea tomorrow night. Arsenal up to second after their win against Forest on 46 points. City on 43. Villa stay on 43. They had the chance to go above City if they had any sort of points tonight, but beaten at home for the first time this season. And for the 5th time in all games this season, Villa remain on 43 points. Spurs in 5th. They have a chance to breach into the top 4 if they beat Brentford tomorrow night and win by a 2-goal scoreline. They will jump above Aston Villa in the Premier League table. Newcastle, well, they get themselves up from 10th and up to 7th in the league table with that win over Aston Villa. A huge 3 points for Eddie Howe's team on their hopes of trying to get back into European places with their 10th win of the season and only their 2nd win on the road this campaign. At the other end, there was a bit of change as well. Sheffield United, if they had held on to their The two leads that they had against Crystal Palace, they would have been off the bottom of the table, but faltering to defeat at Selhurst Park means they remain bottom of the table. Sheffield United on 10 points, Burnley still to play on 12, and Everton, the other change in the bottom half of the table, they drop into the bottom three, drawing away at Fulham. Luton winning against Brighton means they swap places, Luton and Everton. Everton in the bottom three, Luton in 17th on 19 points, a point above a relegation zone. Forest, who looked to be trying to battle it back against Arsenal later on, they couldn't hold on. They couldn't get back into the game. They're only 2 points above relegation. Brentford teetering as well, 4 points above. But Palace, huge 3 points for them to get them a bit further away from relegation threat. Well, that is it from us tonight from LFS. A huge night of Premier League football. More to come tomorrow night. We're at Anfield for Liverpool, the league leaders, against Chelsea tomorrow. 8:15 kickoff. We'll be live from 8 o'clock for the build-up, plus updates from our 2 early games as well. Do join us then. But tonight, it's Villa, who are beaten at home for the first time this season. Shell shock at Villa Park. They were well beaten in the end. Newcastle, a huge 3 points to reignite their European push.